Okay, guys, I'm back. After a really good dinner. So basically, I'm going to quickly do part two because I really, starting at 7:30, my night just flies by. Um, okay, so, um, banks. I think that's where I'm going. Okay, bank. What was a bank? A bank was developed from the Italian word banca, means bench. Because bankers sat on benches and they were there for you to. They were basically money changers. And they would change what type of money you need for you to trade or buy or whatever you're doing. Um, a letter of credit is basically like them writing you a check. Um, So, chivalry, we already talked about that. That's the code that the knights had to live by. Basically, forced honor. Um, so, the church decree, known as the peace of God, placed the church property out of bounds. Like, you couldn't fight on the church. Near the church, on the church grounds. The truce of God said that you couldn't fight from Wednesday evening until Monday morning. So, yeah. Students were trained in the liberal arts. These studies were reserved for free men rather than common men. All subjects were taught in Latin. Cathedrals, was really big during this time. There was the Romanesque type of building, which basically was dark, cold, thick walls. They had the rounded arches, and then there was the Gothic, which is basically the almost like the opposite of what we think of Gothic today. Like, it was light and airy and warm and bright inside. There were thin walls. It was normally very tall. There were flying buttresses to kind of support it. And then there was vernacular, which was like the writing, the common languages that was spoken to the best known writers from the Middle Ages are Dante and Chaucer. Dante was Italian and Chaucer was English. Then there was the Great Famine of 1315, which basically, like, there was a lot of rain. All the food rotted, so nobody had any food. And then there was no salt. Without salt, you can't preserve your food. That's when they started eating other people and junk and all that gross. I really should be grossed out about this, but I mean, I should. And then there was the 100 Years' War, where Edward III, who was English, wanted to become, because he had some sort of French connection in his heritage, wanted to be the king of France, but France decided they would pick Philip VI instead, so there was war about that. And then there was Joan of Arc, who basically rallied all the French and said, okay, come on guys, do this with me. I mean, I know I'm a girl, but I might be, I'm gonna do better than y'all think I am. And she did pretty well. She brought them all together, and then the English captured her and burned her at the stake. But then the example strengthened the French, and they ended up winning. And there was the Black Death, and I'm sure everybody's heard about the Black Death. It's also called, like, the bubonic plague. I think there are, like, other names, but basically we're not exactly sure how it spread. I know some people who are convinced that it was rats. Very convinced. Because it was so unsanitary in England and Europe and wherever it spread. But, that if it was very easy to cultivate bacteria and like rats, which is a very, it seems very plausible explanation. They'd be able to get around and hide in all the crooks and crannies between the houses, in the houses. The houses didn't even have wooden floors or anything. It was either like if you were pretty well to do, you would have, or at least okay, middle class, I think, you would have straw. Maybe higher middle class, upper class, you would have straw. Your middle class or lower, you would have just bare floors, and especially in the straw, there's a lot of places for rats to get in there and then come out and bite you or just carry the bacteria. So yeah, and that's all black words, and I'm really sorry. I meant to do the thinking critically, but I really don't have time to do that tonight. So thank you for watching, and I will try and do more videos next week. I'm really sorry. So yeah, see y'all later. Live long and prosper.